Everything is synced. So, are you ready?
Ready, ready.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and just start the podcast. So, basically, welcome everyone to another episode of the Hue. We have a very special guest today, someone I've been looking forward to for a long time. The gentleman himself is actually a Houstonian, right?
Correct.
Correct. So, go ahead and introduce yourself. Let the world know who you are.
The world. Hi, everyone. This is Hues Of Man, aka Flex Defender on Instagram. Straight from HTX here today. Thank you for having me.
Nah, no problem. Thank you for coming, man. I'm excited. I actually kind of wore my special sweater today.
Oh, Astros. Well, I came today prepared as well. Since I'm back in Texas for the holidays, today's episode is very Western inspired.
Yeah, so, there you go. A hat, I love that hat.
Stetson too.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good hat. Good brand too.
Yeah.
So let's get started. Basically, I just want to share you to the world. The world already knows who you are. Just want to give you a bigger platform.
Okay. Anything to get more exposure. No, I'm very humble, so thank you for doing this.
No problem. No problem. So I'm curious myself, how did Hues Of Man started?
Okay, so Hues Of Man, this started back in 2015, and this was during peak or pre-peak of the fashion blogger days.
Okay.
Yeah, I found fashion as a way to express myself. Because normally I'm a very shy person, so you don't see me talking a lot. When I'm out and about, I'm usually with my close group of friends and just going about my business.
Mm-hmm.
But I found styling clothing and wearing loud clothes is a way to shout to the world and say, hey, this is me and this is what I like to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how Hues Of Man started. So originally the concept was let me show the world the beautiful hues of fabrics, people that I come in contact with, and focus it on that way versus unconscious to kind of the mundane day-to-day that I was seeing back then. Because in Texas, the style here is very different from what you would expect in bigger cities like New York, LA, Chicago.
Yeah.
Here it's very more suit and tie, and with Hues Of Man, I wanted to introduce more cool things out there rather than just this is a cool suit, this is a cool tie, And so my topic began on, okay, let me focus on contemporary brands, streetwear brands, and show that and showcase that on Instagram and make content throughout that way. And then it kind of just sprang board from there into attending local events in Houston, Dallas, and Austin.
Yeah.
Just making a good network and ground base of, getting my work out there. And then it just snowballed into what it is today.
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah. So, especially I noticed on what you do is that you wear a lot of non-traditional outfits. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it. You're actually showcasing a lot of the fashion work in real life.
Yeah.
And that's what's great. And I thought about that a while back. I was like, you see the runways. You see these really interesting showpieces, but you never see it in life. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's because that's what the runway is or just how fashion is. I don't know. I've always wondered how would this be worn in real life? Yeah. And with your work, you've done that. You showcase, especially when you moved to New York. I think you've gotten a lot bolder.
Oh yes, yeah.
You're wearing these 80s, was it 80s, 70s flare type outfits? The pink one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, the one with the frills. Yeah.
I thought that was pretty dope. I was like, oh, this is very cool. You're bringing that retro vibe back.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Yeah. I feel with the fashion world and stuff like that, the stuff that goes out on the runway, it's a moment for the creative director or design and his design team to, convey a thought and feeling. And so, this is their idea. And then, they have different sectors where it's ready to wear, and then like you kind of break it down to like, okay, this is just gonna sell day to day. But then you have like the more artistic pieces that are rare and like only a few will get made, and that kind of stuff I like to gravitate to because it's more unique.
Yeah.
And so to bring that into the real world is much more fun because one, like seeing the reaction of people is always like nice to see. Like I get a lot of people asking me, "Oh, can I touch this?" It's like, no, I don't know you.
Really?
But still, no, it's nice to see like the reaction. Like I would say it goes beyond clothes. It's more like I would think of these as art pieces and like showcasing this type of art form to a local like audience. Like for example, like in Houston, like you don't normally see anyone wearing that outfit you were speaking about earlier, this pink
No.
metallic fabric with plates all over it here out here. You wouldn't see that, but to wear it somewhere like here, it's like it's nice to like bring a little bit of that like mix out here. It's like, oh no, yes, you can wear this too.
Yeah, I mean, you was here during the Super Bowl, right?
I was. Oh, the lady, was it that Lady Gaga year?
Yeah, I think it was 2017. You was here, right?
Yes, I think.
Did you go to the Galleria during the Super Bowl weekend?
I did not because you want to avoid the Galleria at all costs unless you have to go. Especially,
bro, you should have went. The one thing I always told people, and I'm glad I went. I didn't think of anything. I just go to the Galleria. Super Bowl weekend. Whew, man, it was jam packed, but also I saw a lot of interesting characters and
oh yeah,
and usually I saw some things, people wearing things. I'm like, bro, this is not like a what's that thing called I would guess a porn flick because it was people were fishing and stuff. So that's why I was wondering. It's like you don't see a lot of outfits like that, but I was like, man. It just brought me back to like Super Bowl weekend because people were wearing some things.
Oh yeah,
and stuff. So that was pretty cool. But so, do you remember like your first project?
My first project.
Yeah.
Oh, I think. Okay, this was with when we first started making content for this page, Instagram account. I believe it was just I wanted to get like introduce myself, like kind of like tiptoe it into still kind of student Thai world. So I kind of broke in that way. So I partnered with a local makeup artist, Jason Melgar, and photographer, Yasmin Kateb, I believe. And we shot in her studio, apartments, just photography studio out here. I think it was like Kirby or something like that. And it was fun because like it was a moment where I actually got to collab and do a cool shoot. And I had my friend Valerie's Akita with me, and we just did a shoot that way. And then from there, I kind of like springboard into like bigger projects from there.
Oh, that's cool. And so, was that the one with the group of three other guys? Was it that project?
No. So that project was later in 2016.
Okay.
And this was the time that I first really got into the Gucci brand. At the time, Gucci was having a rebirth with a new creative director in helm, and he had completely changed the landscape of menswear at that time because the things that he was doing, he was basically blurring the gender lines of what a man should wear and what a woman should wear. Basically, he wanted to say that you can wear anything that you want. It doesn't matter what gender you are. You can say clothes are gender neutral, and so that was very refreshing. So with that, I started collecting some pieces from Gucci, and I wanted to do a project. And the project company stemmed from me coming from the world of advertising, right? So, you can't just go out there and just take pictures. You have to kind of like do more content with it. And so I decided, okay, let me make a short film, and I collabed with another Houston local, Kid Ford, and these local models and a local photographer, Sarah Miller, and we got together and I think this was during back when it was like some hurricane, and we shot the Saturday morning at like 5 a.m. in East downtown for that project.
Really?
And we only had about, I would say, a 3-4 hour window before the rain would start coming again. And we were lucky because we actually had like good sunlight and lighting. So the rain stopped for us. And so we actually got a good video that day as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big project. So that one's really fun.
So that was really before Harvey, the one that did all the flooding?
That was before Harvey.
Wow.
This was like August 2016 when we did this video back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. You did. I would never, in the photos, you would never think of that.
No, like we were really we were really tracking the weather during that day because like we had everything ready to go the week prior, and then we had a production meeting the week later, like kind of like figure out, okay, we know that it's a bad storm. It was raining the whole week. And we were monitoring closely, like, is everything a go? And what are we going to do if it rains and if it doesn't rain? And so we decided just to go for it because I think it was 5 a.m. We were like, okay, look, we have the rain's gonna stop. We have time to do this. Let's just go for it. And luckily, the weather worked out in our favor.
Dang, 5 a.m. And it's hard to get people up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Dang, I couldn't imagine the logistics of planning all that, especially before a storm.
Oh no!
Of what it did, that project probably would have been canceled after that.
Yeah, I mean, like you have like, everyone's time is valuable, so I wanted to make sure that the photographer was on board, and then our videographer was on board, and then Jay Clark was the videographer, and the models too, making sure like they were still comfortable with coming outside that early and getting dressed and just making the shoot happen.
Yeah. Man, that's crazy. I'm definitely gonna look at those pictures. A lot different now because I thought, this is just another random day, but no, this is before.
No,
this was before Harvey.
Yeah, it was some tropical storm. I know for sure because that week it was just raining constantly, and we just had that little window to film.
Yeah,
and then I think by noon or 1, that's when the rain came back.
Yeah. So was that like your entry into Gucci?
That particular project, because that one I highlighted Michele's spring 2016 collection for men for Gucci, and it was a beautiful collection, and that kind of served the basis of how what I play with clothing now these days, because I take that style back then, which is it's like going into like grandma's old wardrobe.
Yeah.
Or any vintage store and just kind of creating this time period but modern kind of twist to the pieces or styling in general, and just making it your own.
Yeah.
So I took that, and that's kind of the basis of how I pull and style things now these days.
Yeah. So 2016 was that like an era that things were like people started wearing back in the day type things? Like that's when it started happening?
Oh no, I feel like the fashion is very cyclical. So in any period, I feel like they'll pull back a reference, or reference by I mean like a certain period piece, and make it more modern. I think in 2016, it was just more significant for this Gucci brand that they brought back the bell bottoms for men, and then they brought back the secretary blouse, and that particularly was only worn by women back in the 70s. But now men, they had a version, or they had interpreted for this menswear line, and so I've not necessarily that throwback pieces were coming back. I just feel like the cyclical, the rotation of silhouettes came back in that period for the 70s or 60s that time. And then I've seen this too happen as the years went by, like that during that time is like very 70s 60s, and then once you got into 2018 2019 in the fashion world, a lot of brands were referencing the 80s, so a lot of it is like very cyclical, and you'll see it trickle down to different houses too, in some form or some way. Like some brands, like Balenciaga, they'll totally do something else different, but you'll still see kind of like a reference to a time period.
Yeah, like Balenciaga. I didn't even know what Balenciaga was until the was it the sock shoe? The sock shoe?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and
the ones that look like socks.
yeah, that's when I was like, okay, that's Balenciaga. And then my girlfriend told me, I was like, no, they've been around forever. And I was like, what do you mean? They made socks that long? And then she told me, it's like, no, they have their classic bags, and I mean, she has Balenciaga classic bags.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, and it's just what's interesting is that you starting to see these brands that been around forever, you know, and then you just didn't realize they exist.
Right.
And it's crazy, you know, because I mean, I think it's cool, but it's like if Balenciaga never did the sock shoe or did a collab with Gucci, what you're doing with Balenciaga, I would have never known about it.
Yeah,
and I think it's cool, you know. So
I don't know. I feel like that was specifically this year when the Gucci Aria collection came out, and then that's where they did the Hacker Project, which was the collaboration that we all saw with Gucci and Balenciaga. It was a very refreshing to see that on the runway, especially with these two big brands, because normally brands would do it with, you know, smaller labels, or they would do it with an artist. But to see like these two contrasting fashion houses, both that were both under the same holding company, just go at it together, it's like really, really, it was really nice to see it all happen.
oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have a little cough, man.
Oh no, it's not.
No,
it's not COVID, is it?
No, this was like way before COVID. I get it every time when it's like cold.
Oh, okay,
for some reason, I've been through all kinds of medication and stuff. It just won't go away.
I am triple vaxxed for the record.
I am vaxxed for the record too, so don't worry, man. And so when I remember you taking photos from your trip, Milan. And was part of Gucci too? The Milan trip, or was that like some kind of show?
Yes, that was a fashion show. I went with my friend Allison.
How was that?
Oh, it was great. You know, because I feel like, you know, well, one, I was honored to go with her as our guest, and just to see it all happen live was a dream.
I bet.
You know, because it's like this is a big show. You have so many people there, important people too. Like Anna Wintour was there. You have celebrities that are there. Jared Leto, buyers, presidents of
big wigs.
What do you call it? Like big wigs. Like Saks people were there, and it was a special too because this was a show that was first. It was the first combined men's and women's show the brand had done within the Gucci hub, and they had built a special. I think it was a portion of the property that was supposed to be a stage, and this was the first time it was used, and this was also the first time at that time that they had a large number of clients from all over the world come and watch the show. So we got to meet clients from Canada, Asia, Russia, and you know, these are all people that have a love for this brand, and got to meet with them, talk with them, and then also like after the show, we went to the showroom, so we got a very close up look at what just walked down the runway, and models were coming out and trying on clothes for us. So it was a very wild but beautiful experience.
Was that like one of your I made it mom moments? I mean, that's kind of a big deal.
I would say it was. I think my I made it moment probably had to be like when me and her, Brent Allison, was where we were featured on some Gotham magazine. We got our own. We were featured in like a New York magazine, so that was fun too. And then I think also another made it moment was probably when for Fashion Week, street style getting captured and like getting put all over the internet.
Oh yeah, I remember. I remember that one.
Yeah, I got a photo on the Hype Beast account, and we were sitting next to Nicki Minaj and Kim Kardashian on the grids. It's like, oh, this is great. But yeah, I would say like getting to see the show was also like a good moment, a memorable moment too, because it was just to see it all happen live again, and like see the clothes and the actual runway and the concept of the show in such. This is a big budget show.
Oh yeah.
So it's like it was very high end production. Because like here in Houston and in Austin and Dallas, like you don't get to see that kind of stuff. It's just normally like stage or on the streets. So it's to see this happening, like, oh my god, this is real. Like, this is that was a cool moment.
Yeah, and to I would say Texas credit, there are a group of individuals, local individuals that are pushing for it.
Yes,
and it well should be, because there's a lot of talented individuals like yourself pushing for fashion, and to me, I just think it's strange for Houston to be a very international city. There's nothing like that, like fashion wise.
Yeah,
it should. To me personally, I just think it's strange.
Yeah, I feel like what I've noticed, again, the media companies here have to cater to a specific audience, and we know the audience here is like they're being more conservative on where they stand on the fashion. So back in the day, like I would go to these magazine parties, and they would say, for example, like they would highlight like certain people throughout the year, and you would look and like, what is this? They weren't like pushing for out there or creativity. It was just like businessmen, or
if it's
it wasn't like, what is this? But I think now that you have more local people taking an independent approach to highlighting culture and fashion in Houston, I think that's a great thing. One of these groups is called Strut, and I was a part of them when I was in here. And they put on local shows and highlight local designers too, and then they were making creative content with it. So I feel like people like them and a bunch of local artists, I think are making the scene more known here.
Oh yeah, organizations like Strut definitely are on the forefront of trying to make fashion a lot bigger.
Yeah,
my boy Dick.
Yes, Dick Clark.
I just love that name.
Yeah,
and so yeah, and Dick Clark and Omar. I believe.
Omar.
They're definitely making their moves with Strut, and a couple of independent designers are definitely making their move. Shout out to House of a Need. He's definitely making his moves. So let's go back to the Fashion Week in New York.
Yeah,
because I want to talk about that moment you had. Was it with the was it like a diamond cover over your head? Was it that one?
Yes, that was.
You was breaking necks with that one.
I was breaking necks with that one. That one was 2017, and then I had gotten the crystal top and the crystal mask that Rihanna had worn at Coachella that year, and I had brought it out, and I styled it with this coat and this onesie that I got from Gucci too, all over like monogram with a weird bat in the middle.
Oh yeah.
And Allison had her outfit too, also that she had gotten from the runway show that we went to, and we decided to like do this moment where I had a choker on and a choker on with a leash, and she held the leash, and we had gone to this Jason Wu, like I think it was like right at the end of the Jason Wu show, and we just showed up, and all the paparazzi photographers started hounding us for a photo, and there was one guy that was out there, and he was like, "Oh, hey, can I get your photo?" And it's like, "Sure, okay, why not?" Because the name of the game of Fashion Week, if you're like out there, is like, especially if you're doing the vlogging thing, is like you have to get your photos out there, because the more media exposure you get, the more recognition that you build up in the industry. And the guy came up to me and he was like, okay, can I get your photo? And it's like, sure, why not? And then it's like, what's your name? I was like, Ralph. And started me asking more questions, and then Instagram and blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, my name is, I forgot who he was now, but I'm with the New Yorker magazine, and we want to give you the Golden Peacock Award that year. I was like, oh, okay. So like, I think the next day I ended up finding an article. Then New York Mag had tagged me, and then an article later came out that same day of me with the mask on the hoodie. I mean, not the hoodie, the crystal mask. Because I mean that was one of the pieces that you had to have. I mean,
Yeah.
it was like very collector, very hard to get, and so to see again what you were talking about earlier, to see strange, like out of the norm pieces in real life and in a real world context. That was a moment, and they loved it, and that photo had circulated through everywhere on the internet. It's like wildfire.
Yeah.
Yeah, it ended up everywhere.
That's so dope, man. That's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, because when I saw it, I was like, man, it's cool that you did that. Because I mean, honestly, I liked it. I liked the headpiece, but it was way way out of my budget.
Oh, like, too, like I am not a rich kid in any means. So
Yeah.
I, work hard for my thing. So it's like stuff like this, like you gotta plan carefully and like make sure, like, okay, I'll take what I can from the collection, because the brands will like throw out so much. You have to kind of absorb it all and see what works and what doesn't, and what you can build upon to make your looks that way.
Do you go based on their collections?
I go based by collections. I like digest what I like from the runway, and then from there, like, analyze it more closely. Like, okay, is this accessory gonna work with everything? Is this jacket or this shoe gonna work with everything? And then kind of piece it from there. Because I mean, if you buy the whole thing, I mean, you have to be ridiculously rich to buy the entire line, right? So,
Oh yeah, I can imagine, especially with today's era with scalpers.
right?
It's almost near impossible to get any kind of limited release, especially with that's really hot. Like, you use the term hype.
Yeah, hype.
Okay, like
Hype,
that's really hype right now.
Yeah.
It's just it's pretty hard. And so I can understand what you're saying.
Yeah. But yeah, that mask, I felt strongly about it too, because I loved the way it was crafted. I loved what you like. It made me feel like wow, and looking at it is even wow. So it was a great piece to add to my collection, and everyone loved it. So it was a good investment piece to get. As weird as to say, I mean, clothes are not investment, but like it's good to just have in the wardrobe.
Yeah, that's true. So after the show, when all the paparazzi were like pretty much hounding you out for photos, were they like showing your their credentials or anything, or was it just like there's a camera, take a photo, and there's another one, take a photo? Was it like that? Or?
Yeah, it's pretty much like out there after you exit the building, right? After you're done watching your show, that's when they all swarm, because they want to get. There are multiple photographers out there, and a lot of them are going and uploading their photos on Getty images, so that publications can like pull and do their compilations of for example, best styles at New York Fashion Week. So they're uploading it that way, and then you have other photographers that are there for an actual media, like Pause Online was one, Hype Beast is one too. They're usually out there, so you have a mix of people. But to have them pull up their creds, no, it's kind of like you just do it when you leave, get your shot, and then that's it, and hope that your name or tag ends up somewhere.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Dang, I always wondered, because I guess in the movies I would say, oh, though, this is New York Post, can we take a photo and stuff like that?
Yeah. I mean, there's been some instances like that one with New York Mag, but in general, from my experience, it's mostly just you exit and your photo is, can we get your photo? Can we get your photo? Sure. Okay. And then you just do your pose, and then that's it.
Yeah. So what was it like for your first experience with that?
It was a thrill, because you're out there. The name and you're out there, and like you were showcasing your style sense in these clothes that you style together. So it's fun, and then you just hop from show to show. It's very stressful. It's very exhausting because changing in between, that is also a game, and and it is also a risk because like sometimes you don't end up anywhere, and then you have a good fit, but you still have to get the content for it anyway. So
is there like a technique, like you do one way then the other way, and
for posing?
Yeah, is there like a technique for like multiple photographers?
For photographers, I don't know. They're usually either mid body level or sitting, or like photographing you from the bottom up. So you just have to like work the camera and know your angles, I guess. like I have a stance that I usually go to, and then they love to do like the pretend walk, so they'll make you walk back and forth a couple of times so that you're like walking for makes it look like you're like naturally walking to somewhere. So that's a good one to do too. But for the most part, it's pretty much happens in a big blur.
Dang, that's cool. That's cool, man. Man, I always just wondered. I'm from Texas. We don't see too many paparazzis around here. It's just basically downtown is dead.
Oh, I mean, I was at this last event, Magpies and Peacocks, which is a great organization out here that really they highlight sustainable fashion and work with a lot of local designers. And they had a fashion event in Discovery Green, and there seems to be some photographers out there too. So it's a lot of local photographers, but it's something for this community.
Yeah. I didn't get the invite.
Oh.
I'm always the one left out. I hear it later and stuff.
Yeah, it's hard. I haven't kept up with much, but I mean, you have to get, I guess, the news from the circle to see what's up.
Yeah, I need to infiltrate that circle, see who it is, where do I need to get my information from.
Yeah,
and, but it's cool. So explain this outfit you're wearing. I'm curious to know.
Okay. Curious to know. I am wearing a Gucci Love Parade inspired outfit today. Yeah. So I brought back the Mega Aviator Shields from spring 2019, which we saw recently. The Aria nose ring from this season. And then my favorite rug. I call this a rug vest because it's like this metallic fabric, but everyone calls it a rug or pillow. And, it's very Western too. I wanted to be a little bit campy, so I brought my cowboy hat, Stetson, and obviously I can't wear it right now because I have this giant headset on, but I was going for a very rock and roll cowboy today.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. Does that nose piece hurt?
No, actually, when I bought it, I thought it. When I first started considering to buy it, I was like, "Oh, is it gonna hurt?" But actually, no. It's kind of comfortable. It's kind of tricky to take off though. But no, my septum is not pierced. It just kind of like hooks on. So it's actually comfortable.
That's cool. That's cool, man. So, being in New York, we had a small conversation in the elevator saying like, the first thing when you came back to Texas was go to Papacitos.
It is. I think that the food down here is probably, I don't know. I'm just going to say, I think the food down here is better. Yeah. I think because in the South, we put our seasoning, we put the sazon. And in the East Coast, you don't really get the good Tex-Mex or Mexican food out there. Because I mean, well, one, it's like mostly the majority of Latinos are there, Puerto Rican, Dominican. But coming from Texas, like you go there for like street tacos, like I'm like, it tastes okay. But down here, I mean, okay, it's Papacitos chain restaurant, but whatever. I grew up on Papacitos, and I always loved getting the fajitas there. Yeah. So every time I'm in Texas, I have to have the fajitas from Papacitos. And I was sad to see that there's not a lot of Lubies left, or there's no Lubies left.
Oh, you're a Lubies fan?
I'm a fan of chicken fried steak. And so that's another thing up in the East Coast. Like, it's hard to find a good chicken fried steak unless you have, if you know that there's a Southern specialty type of restaurant around you that can make it. But other than that, it's very rare to get up there. Yeah. So when I'm down here, I eat as often as I can. I mean, not all the time, but once in a while, like, let me get one. Yeah. So Luby's. My favorite Italian restaurant here in Houston is Copa Osteria. And Torchy's Tacos, really good too. Torchy's Velvet Taco.
Yeah.
And then my bakeries, Common Bond.
Common Bond's good.
What else? What's the other one I used to go? Toot Sweet.
Too sweet. They still around?
I think I haven't been to one yet since I've been down here recently. But
you been to Post HTX yet?
No, I need to check that out. I've seen everyone post about it, and I kind of want to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it good?
I've been there once. So it's, I wouldn't say it's 100% complete.
Yeah.
But the food court is open, and the rooftop is open.
Okay.
But like store wise, like shopping, like clothing, or any other type of business aside from food, they're not open yet.
Oh,
they're still in the process.
Got it.
Yeah, it's been an ongoing process for a long time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but the food court is pretty cool. I like it. I like the concept. It's pretty good.
I want to go there for shoots.
Oh yeah, you'll love it, dude.
Yeah, I need to check out the rooftop.
You'll love it. The scenery on the rooftop is amazing. You know, I don't recommend going when it's cold.
Oh,
it just feels colder up there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yesterday sucked. Today is actually kind of good. So.
Oh yeah. It's a little warmer today.
Yeah.
But it's nothing compared to New York, though, right? New York is pretty cold, ain't it?
Oh, it's cold right now. I think at this time it's probably like in the 40s, 30s.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be in your layers and bundled up. And I think there's a blessing that some companies are letting you get to work remotely now, and so I'm just chilling down here in the warm weather.
Oh yeah,
as long as I can.
Yeah.
My plan this year was like, let me skip the
the winter
up there.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it was just brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah, that's true. But to go back on that conversation about food, you're not the only one that told me this. A lot of people that I know from the West Coast, and the few that I know from the East Coast, they always say food in Houston is always better. And from a friend level, but from a business level, a lot of restaurant owners that I know say the same thing, because you would have brands like coming from California, coming from New York or the East Coast. They would try to compete in Houston.
Yeah,
they don't work out. It's a strange thing. It's like Houston food is just superior from, I guess, all over the country.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's something about Houston food that just what did the kids say? It hits different. It hits different down here. I don't know, because New York has really great Chinese and Italian food. I'm gonna give them that.
Okay.
But I mean, my favorite, obviously, is like a lot of Tex-Mex. So, I'm biased, I guess. But I mean, the food when I come down home is like it just tastes like home to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like Tex-Mex is your type of, like, your personal favorite?
Yeah, I'd order probably Tex-Mex and then Italian and then Asian.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But always, it's like, if I'm down here, it's like I have to have Papacitos.
That's awesome, man. Hey man, there's nothing wrong with chain food.
There's nothing wrong with chain food.
There's nothing wrong with chain food. I love Papacitos too. I do get my fajitas there too.
Yeah. A lot of people love In-N-Out, so.
I'm not with that argument with In-N-Out's better than Whataburger or Whataburger is better than In-N-Out. To me, it tastes the same.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just In-N-Out fries just suck.
It's the hype for In-N-Out. It's the hype.
It's a good option to have.
Yeah.
There's Smash Burger, there's Whataburger, there's In-N-Out. There's another one I can't even think of the name right now. That's just ridiculously expensive.
Oh, which one? Hop Dotties?
Not Hop Dotties. Oh, Hop Dotties too. It's like an old school retro type burgers.
P. Terry's?
No, can't even think of the name right now. But it's like you literally spend $20 on a meal. It's ridiculously expensive. I can't think of the name right now. But it's a burger joint. It's like a retro burger joint, but I'll give you the name later.
Okay.
But it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
But so in New York, is street photography pretty good?
Yes.
Like everyone's doing everything in there.
Everyone's doing everything in there. I mean, made the whole basis of the city is like you have a backdrop on every corner that you're going to, and of course it's New York. Like you have a lot of movies that were made there. They have a certain scenes, so there's a lot of room for photography to happen. So the street photographers there are swarming. You just have to find them at the right time because they're all over. Yeah, I would say a good spot is like in the East Village or Soho. That's where actually Soho is probably the best you can get him because it's Soho is like kind of the cool part of the town where like all the shopping happens and stuff like that. So I'll see a lot of them on the weekends like out there.
Okay, so is that what you do? You just put on an outfit and just walk out there and just like hey, you're a photographer, let's go.
No, I mean if you're gonna do that, that's more like a setup with like if you have a photographer friend and you know you want to work with them, then you actually just go out and shoot. But the more organic things, like if you're put on an outfit and you go on the street, that's kind of just more of the fashion week world where, you know, they're looking to capture all that street style that's out there. I mean, if you did that every day, I think if you went out there looking every day, like I don't think, you know, because the normal person is not gonna wear an outfit every time they're going out. Like if I'm not in like mode and he's a man mode, I'm just like in sweats and a shirt. Really? So no, but back to your question, like you would have to just be there at the right time that's set up with the photographer, or it's a certain event that's going on. That's when you usually find them.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool, man. That's cool. I'm always curious because, you know, I've always wanted to know how it works in New York, especially when it comes from photography, as well as filming. You know, over here in Houston, it's a little different. It's like you kind of have to enter this little private circle. If you don't know the people that do the work around here, it's kind of like it's hard to establish yourself unless you're just have like unlimited amount of money in your account and just doing all kinds of projects and stuff. So I've always wondered how that worked in New York.
It kind of the same. I mean, you have photographers. I mean, that they have the rates, and you know you have to book a session with them if you want your pictures taken. If you're doing the blogging thing, like, or you know you can do it yourself as well. But I mean, as far as photographers, they're swarming everywhere. So you know, so there's a lot of models there too, professional working models. So they're looking for photos for their portfolio. Photographer wants to practice shooting, so you know there's a good trade-off balance between them. But I mean, you just have to develop a relationship with photographers and just kind of get to know the people that you meet. Out and about.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. So what's next?
What's next?
So since it's almost the end of 2021. What's the plan for 2022?
Oh, that's a very good question. I have not thought about that. I mean, I feel like, you know, everyone's kind of like in this period of rest and creativity just because the world's kind of still on pause. I mean, we're slowly bouncing back, but with these Greek letters popping up here and there, we just don't know. So, I mean, I'm just taking the time back to relax and, you know, take my time, my personal mental health time to me, and then 2022 we'll just see what happens. I think for the most part, I'll always have something cooking up every year. Like I always try to make at least one video. Because I love making all these videos, especially with my videographer that I work with, the Nick Holder. If he watches this, he's fun to work with. No, but I feel like it's fun to, especially if you're gonna do a video out there like in New York. It's always fun to like work with someone and then style and just have fun in the setting.
Yeah, and this is mainly for like TikTok or
no, not TikTok, just Hues Of Man. Like with the Hues Of Man stuff, like it's very more like editorial focused, where like I curate some looks to tell a story. So like there was one year I did like rock and roll David Bowie. This year I did a lot of just typical like New York Fashion Week, and so there's different stories I put out probably around every summer. I do something.
Yeah.
So, but in between that, it's like run of the mill. Like let me put a look together and just shoot. So there's always content happening everywhere.
Yeah. So is there any content cooking up with Louis Vuitton, like LV? I've seen a couple of which I thought were dope. The Letterman jackets.
Yes.
Yeah, is there anything in the works with those?
No. I mean, I feel that was like a little like one special project for me, but that I just nothing major happened. That nothing like on the grand scale of like what I used to do, but nothing with LV yet. But I'm just dabbling back and forth at the moment.
That's cool. So, I mean, what you got cooking up for the rodeo? You got to do something for the rodeo, man.
Oh, if I'm here still, I don't. Cause I think I'm back in New York starting February. But I mean, if I get to extend, I don't know. I've always wanted to go to the fair and try that. What is it? The deep fried.
The Twinkie?
The deep fried Twinkies, and I think I'm good on the concerts. I mean, I went there as a kid and as an adult, and it's like.
Oh, you never went back since?
I think the last one I saw was Taylor Swift. That year she was at the rodeo. But I mean, they're just rotating on the stage. It's like, okay, it's not for me.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of things for the rodeo. I'm excited.
Oh, the cook-off's always good. I love the chili cook-offs.
Yeah, cook-off's good. The food court's good. The games are a rip off.
Oh yes.
I spent a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah.
But it was canceled this year. Hopefully, since George Strait's going to be there next year, so it's going to be impossible to cancel.
Right.
The King is coming back.
Right.
I'm excited for this year. I mean, for next year. So I was wondering. I just had to ask. Were you going to do something for the rodeo?
Oh, nothing planned yet, but I mean, I'll let everyone know if I am.
Well, all right. Basically, that's all I have. Like I said, I was really excited you to be here. I'm glad that you were here because I've always had a ton of questions. And also I have to show you that video that I never published.
Oh yes, I am still waiting to see. I know that we went out there and we was dancing.
Yeah, man. At that time when we were filming, it was a cold day too. I remember that.
It was very cold. I think it was New Year's Day.
Yeah.
Yes, it was New Year's Day.
Yeah. It's just to this day I feel bad not publishing it, but
it's all good.
It was during a time where I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I was experimenting with all kinds of tricks and stuff.
Yeah.
And stuff, but I will show it to you today.
Oh, okay. I'm excited to see this.
But if you want me to publish it, I will publish it. But
go for it. Yeah, I've always wanted to see what the end result was. I know you sent me like one clip, so I was wanting to see like what.
Oh, the bloopers.
Yeah.
That was the bloopers. Yeah. But the clip is done. I have it and stuff. But guys, that's it. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. And like I said, if you're interested in getting to know more of Hues of Man, go ahead and plug your social media account.
It's at Hues of Man, HUESOFMAN on Instagram.
So guys, hope you guys enjoy the podcast, and we'll pretty much see you on the next one.
Thank you.